Hi there. So I'm Rebecca Watkins, and I thought I would share today a quick and easy framing method for those of you who like to paint your own things but don't want to pay someone to frame it for you. So I'm going to just turn my camera and we'll see how this works. So this is a frame, an inexpensive frame that I got at Hobby Lobby. And I'll pull this out real quick to show you. So I got it $29.99. You can usually get them half off there. This is an open back frame, but I'll often buy frames that already have glass and a mat in it, and all you have to do is take the back off and pop everything out and have a few tools. If you buy the kind of frame that has the little clippies in the side, sometimes you'll see these little clips in the side. You want to get a pair of needle nose pliers. You can grab those little clips and just roll and they'll pull right out. So I'll go around and pull all those little clips out so that I have a nice clean edge. Then I'll take my piece of art and I will flip it over and put it face down. So this is an 11 by 14. So when you look for a frame, you're going to look for an 11 by 14 frame. What that means is the cutout is the right size for that 11 by 14. So this is a canvas, and you're going to notice that it doesn't sit in there flat. You see how it sticks up. So we're going to have to do some things to make it stay in there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the hardware from the store. I've already started, but rather than using this, what they call a sawtooth hanger, I'm going to use a wire back hanger. And these are just usually really simple to take out, and just grab a screwdriver, pull everything out. Shouldn't take much effort to get those out, and now it's off. So the whole back is smooth. A lot of times if you're going to submit something to an art gallery, they don't want these sawtooth hangers because they do tend to scrape the walls and leave marks. So instead, we're going to rig this up so that it's got a wire on the back, and that's what I want to show you today. So let me move this so you guys can see the whole thing. I think that's a little better. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure that my artwork is secured to the frame, and I'm going to show you, I have a little kit made of all sorts of different sized, these are canvas clips. You can get these canvas clips online at Amazon or Hobby Lobby, but they're called canvas clips. And we're going to use them to connect the frame. We're going to drill into the frame, and then these are going to hold our canvas in place. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole process of, you could put one on each side, so you have 4. Depends on how big your canvas is. But for today, I'm just going to show you how to do 2 of these. So I'm going to actually mark where I want these. You can go about halfway down. I'm a little above halfway, and I have made 2 marks on the frame itself. I'm going to take a drill and just pre-drill 2 little starter holes. I'm not going really far. I know I have a pink power drill. So that everybody knows it belongs to me. Okay, so I'm gonna put my little clippies where I mark them, and you'll see my little circles line right up. And I'm gonna put these in simply by hand. I pre-drilled that hole. Sometimes the wood is soft enough that you don't really have to pre-drill that hole. Of course, let's see. But it does help just to get everything to go in straight. So again, if you want to power tool this, that is great, but this wood is so soft that this is actually quite easy to put in. These are just teeny tiny little screws. They actually came with the framing clips that I ordered. Framing clips come in a variety of sizes. The size I used on this one is a 1/8 framing clip. If I were you, I would order a variety of sizes. I'd order a 1/8 and at minimum an 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch framing clips, because Every frame is cut a little different, and sometimes, you know, you need 1/8 of an inch, and that's all you need to hold it in, and other times you need a little bit more. So now you'll see that this is in there, and it's not gonna fall out. All right, so the next thing I wanna do, and I could go through and I could add some extra framing clips, but for this demonstration, I'm just gonna show you these two. I typically would add another one at the bottom and maybe another one at the top just to hold everything straight. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some hardware to put my wire on. I typically go about 1/3 of the way down. And I just, once again, I kind of line up where these are. These are called D-rings, D as in the letter dog, and they wrap around and they're gonna hold the wire securely in place. Now on this, I do tend to, I'm gonna measure, so I'm gonna actually start, I'm guesstimating about 1/3 of the way down on this side. I'm gonna make a mark. Then I'm just gonna quickly measure to see how far down that is. That's about 6.5 inches. So I'm gonna go on this side, come down to my 6.5 inch mark, and I know that that's gonna be pretty close to level. So I'm gonna make another little starter hole here. And same on this side. Now be careful, don't go all the way through the frame because you don't want a hole on the other side. I just went part way down just to make sure, that I had a starter hole finished. All right, so this is going to go in that little starter hole. Sorry, having problems with my fingers this morning. Sometimes they don't cooperate. Again, you could use a drill to put these screws in, but this wood is so soft that there's no reason for all that extra muscle and manpower, or women power, right? All right, I'm gonna put this one in. I do 1/3 of the way down because it seems to balance out the weight pretty well when I hang this up on the wall. The bottom portion is gonna have just enough weight to push back against the wall, and it usually hangs pretty nice and flat against the wall. Sometimes you have to find these little D rings in smaller sizes because these are pretty substantial, and I have a pretty substantial frame. But sometimes you need something that's just a little more petite, and you can buy some smaller D rings. Like here's an example of a smaller one. Although I will admit I don't like this because it doesn't loop up, and sometimes with these teeny tiny ones, if you put too much weight on these little ones, they'll break, and you don't want to set your picture up to fall. So I would rather use a heavy duty one if I can and save my teeny tiny ones for just a little tiny lightweight painting. All right, next you're gonna want picture wire. This is good for up to 50 pounds. And then you're gonna want something to cut your wire. I typically will start on one side, I'll come up, and I'll just twist that wire. And that's kind of hard to see, but I will twist this around several times up and several times down. I actually don't think I got enough there. You wanna leave enough that you've got it really good. Let's do that, that's a little bit better. So I like to twist this wire up, and then I like to come back down on itself. And again, you just have to figure out what you're comfortable with, but you just want it so that it's gonna hold. Then I come across, you don't want it super tight, but you don't want it super loose because you don't want it to hang like that. So I try to find something that's gonna allow it when it's tight to hang in this kind of area. So I'm going to clip this to give myself enough play. Again, you can use wire cutters. If you've got needle nose pliers, sometimes I have a little cutter at the end. I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Again, I want there to be enough tension in it that it's gonna hold it nicely, but it's not taut all the way across, and the wire is not gonna come up above it. So now I have this all set. Got my thumb on it. You can see it's leaning forward, but when it's on a wall, it's gonna push itself nice and nice and flat. And we are framed and ready to go. Thanks, hope that was helpful to you if you've never framed something before, but it's really not that difficult. I did it under 10 minutes. Thanks, bye.